Hey, Tom here, FlipAnythingUSA. It's Friday, Fake Guru Friday. Although I don't think I'll be talking much about fake gurus, but if somebody wants to go somewhere, we can go take a look. Also, I've got the call in live. If you want to call in, there's the live call number up there. Um, so I haven't been on here much lately because I'm in the midst of finishing four whatever renovations, and I'm happy to report all are done. The last thing I got to do is put a floor in one of the my high end property. So excited about that. I've been looking at Canadian maple flooring. The Canadians are pretty proud of their maple. It is pretty. It is pretty consistent. It is beautiful. Wood flooring, and that's probably what I will use. But it's floating in there at $15 a foot. Pretty expensive. Uh, hey Andrew, good to see you in here. Isaac, Liam, always a pleasure, guys. So you know what? I've got multiple things here I've been looking at. This is Texas and the White House standoff over the border crossings. You know I just have to wonder how some people are affected by the border crossings in damaging their real estate values. A lot of people got a lot of people, just all of a sudden they're in the neighborhood and they're sleeping everywhere, and this is all across the country now. And now it's a big enough problem. You know, the interior states that have never really thought much about immigration, they're the ones that are finally getting a pretty hard hit. I've lived in California, I've lived in Texas, and so I've seen a ton of that stuff, and I've seen the problems that follow. Hey, Cray Cat, glad you read the book. Maybe jump in and, who knows, maybe take the mentorship. I'm not taking any new people into the mentorship. Those of you just got here, I've got a book. Oops, that's my iPad. I've got a book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. It's been a bestseller on Amazon, Audible, and Kindle. Also have a mentorship that you can be a part of if you are accepted. And that's at Flip Anything USA. And I'll show you that as well real quickly. But, I wanted to talk about how important it is right now let me show you this real quick. Here's Flip Anything USA. This is my site. And if you just got here, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. You learn a lot here if you're interested in learning about real estate. Get my book, stick around here, and maybe get in the mentorship. These are students of mine. Some are actually watching right now. And I've got many new millionaires, guys that made their first million in my mentorship from real estate, and that's I'm very proud of that fact. And I don't think anybody has near the record out there on YouTube of making real substantial money. I've been doing it a long time, and I got smart, serious people. I only let people in that are interested and smart, and but I'm not going to let anybody new in until late February. So if you want to get in, you fill out the webinar, or not the webinar. You can go here and fill out the webinar right here, and or both. You should get the book because I'm more impressed with people that already have my book than people that don't. And over here you can get the mentorship survey. Also, it's a way to get on the list, my mailing list, my emailing list, which I don't listen. I feel sorry for anybody that gets on the fake guru list. I know somebody that got on a Pace Morby list, and every other day they're getting hammered with, "Hey, I got a secret for you. Hey, I just heard this," and it's just so much bullshit. I tell you, it's insulting to the intelligence of the people that get a lot of these messages. But some of them, you know what? Some of them maybe not. So that's why I vet them out. I've seen some people I wouldn't want in my class. I say no to. Others I am anxious to have them in there. If you're somebody out there, you got $100,000 or 50 grand or $1 million, whatever you got, you should be investing in real estate. If you're not, you're missing the boat on how to really make a lot of money. And I'm not discouraging you folks that don't have any money or you're at zero. I started with zero. You can do it too, but you start with my book. Make that $10 investment in my book. That's where you start. It'll be the best $10 or $20 you ever spend. Anyways, what do you guys want to talk about? What do you want to go look at? Hey, Liam, good to see you in here. Anybody got anything in particular? Ninja. This couple titles that caught me: taxpayer-funded housing as a leaked Senate bill. How long is that? Yeah, it's 11 minutes, maybe a little long. We got the ninja here. He's talking about fire your agent if they do this, and I've got a lot of. I can add to that. I can definitely expand on that topic. And what else? No, not that. Oh yeah. Let's take a look at this. Let's just take a look at the border standoff right now. This is. It's interesting because we have Texas protecting the border. They had 300,000 people, I think, come over in a month in this one particular park, and 10,000 a day. And today they had zero come in, zero. So what they're doing is working, and the federal government doesn't like it, and that's a problem.
Are locked in a bitter standoff on the border. The administration demanding Texas reopen a border park to federal agents after the drowning deaths of 3 migrants. The White House blames Texas for those deaths, saying the state blocked agents.
And those people actually drowned on the Mexican side of the river.
From rescuing the woman and her 2 children. But a new DOJ court filing has disproved that narrative, revealing the migrants were already dead when the feds requested access. Meanwhile, Texas is holding firm and refusing to let the feds back in.
They don't tell us where they're sending people, where people are coming across. They don't tell us about criminal activity along the border. They don't tell us who they're letting in, whether it's terrorists or people that have committed crimes. They don't tell us where people are from. We have the obligation to control public lands in Texas. We're a sovereign state, and we plan on defending our borders.
Yeah, so what's funny is, you got a lot of the blue cities, right, that have been heavily affected because, our governor here in Texas, he's been shipping them straight into the blue states, the sanctuary cities. They're the ones that have been saying they want them, for all these years, and now they're actually getting busloads of them. We take millions and millions of them into Texas every day, and it's really strange because we're seeing Chinese, we're seeing we're seeing thousands and thousands of people coming in through Texas, through Mexico into Texas, across the border illegally, and they're coming from China. And believe me, if they're coming from China, China's sending them here. They're sending them here. And I know somebody down there at the border, and he said that the only ones they're really processing are the ones that, women and children. They're kind of like the sugar coating on the giant turd that goes across every day. And but he said the middle-aged ones, the rough-looking ones, the ones that highly likely to be criminal, they're not getting processed. They're going around. They're getting in without being vetted at all or even touched. Not that anybody's really being vetted. It's pretty terrible. But so a couple comments here. Hey Keith, good to see you in here. I hadn't seen you in a while, buddy. And he says it's bad there in California. Yeah, listen, if you're a border town, it's rough. Craig Cat wrote, I don't have much discretionary income right now to flip, but I understand how you can make a lot of money compared to holding. Yep, that's the truth. You absolutely can. I started with zero, and anybody out there, young people, you can do it too. But last thing you should need to do is borrow money to take a course. If you got to borrow money to take a course, then you're not ready to take a course. You need to get a skill and learn how to make some money using your hands or using your head in another way. It's super important because the people that blow money the worst and make the biggest mistakes are people that borrow money. You know what I mean? In other words, you got to start from the bottom. You got to start from the bottom, and that means get a little skill set, show some discipline, save some money, and then and read the free stuff, watch the free stuff, and start building your knowledge base. That's how you start. And there's a lot of fake gurus out there that'll say, "Oh yeah, absolutely, go borrow $8,000 and join the class. It's super important. It's well worth it." Yeah, leverage your home or leverage whatever you got to relationships to get to buy this. And those are the guys that are full of bullshit. And that's if you noticed here, I have not I haven't even been doing my webinars here for the last. I'm not going to do anything. I'm still talking to people that want to get in. You go to FlipAnythingUSA.com/webinar or the mentorship. You get on my email list, and you'll have an opportunity that you can touch base with me. And if you want to talk, we can talk about it. But I am not out there. I don't make my money off of people, that want to learn about real estate, that want to make money in real estate. Now, I love teaching people like that, and I love helping hungry people, but I'm not at the expense of misleading them. In other words, I don't make my money that way. I'm not dependent on that. But the people that are dependent, you'll know very quickly when you get on a list, and you get constantly. You're going to get emails. You're going to get texts. And just so much like, oh, hey, I just heard this, and all this stupid bullshit. And it's a way of, they're trying to see if you're a dumbass or not. Because if you don't say remove or get lost, then they think, oh, you know what? I think we got somebody here that is susceptible to our bullshit. So anyways, Keith wrote, and you answer your phone. Yeah, Keith's in the class. Yeah, Keith, I am accessible, and I don't run from questions. In fact, anybody want to ask a question, anything real estate at all, I am happy to take any questions you have. There's the number. You call that number, and you'll be talking live on here with me. And it doesn't matter. But I mean, have a problem to solve or have a real question. I answer a lot of questions for a long time for free. But I thought it was kind of a waste to answer questions individually when everybody can get the benefit of the answer and we can talk about stuff. But I'll tell you, there's nothing like making money in real estate. There's just nothing like it. Liam, who's watching right now, who's in the audience with you, he's made upwards of $700,000 now, and he's a carpenter like me, and he learned what he knows a little bit late compared to me, but guess what? That's how fast his life changed in just a couple of years. He's made $560,000, and then he's made some more since. Anyways, one of the things I wanted to talk about that's important is go out there and start beating up the properties that are for sale. When you see something listed, if it doesn't make sense, the sellers need to be woke up. And believe me, they're starting to cave. They're starting to cave right now, and it's going to get a lot worse because, you can even see the stress on Ben Malla. And I like Ben Malla, and, he's a smart guy, but, he started in real estate later than I did, and I don't believe he respected or he didn't fully fear what he should have feared, and that is, real estate rates going up. I started in rates that were like 12%. So I know how high rates can be. And they were coming down to 12% from a higher number than that. But, all through the 90s, just so you know, from 1981 through 1990, I must have bought 70 properties. And in those 70 properties or so that I bought, maybe a little more than that actually, and that was just in that 10 years. The lowest interest rate I ever had was 9%, 9.125%, but everything else was 10%. And so none of this stuff surprised me, and thank God my students, I told every one of them, if you want to get rid of it, because it's going to be tougher to get rid of. And if you got anything you want to keep, you need to refi it or, get the money cheap, get the cheap money, and they all did. And everybody here is in my class. We're spectators to the demise that's going on. And we're going to benefit from it. We're going to take advantage of the situations when we can. And there's nothing better than being a spectator to a caving economy and to a downturn, because it means you got your money right. You're okay. You can't control some things, of course, but you're in a better position to buy. When you can be a buyer in an imploding market, I mean, boy, that's where the big money's made. And you can really, really make some huge home runs. Let's see, got another one. What's this? Guyana Space. What's this? With commercial property unused, how will it be utilized? I don't know what you're talking about. What commercial property is not being utilized? Now, there's some offices. You're going to see more office vacancies, but commercial property is staying quite full and is doing quite well. Now, Granted, it's going down in value. I've got almost 200,000 square feet of property, and my rents are. And I'm 100% occupied. Okay, and that's knock on wood. I want to keep it that way, but the deal is if I had to buy the properties that I own today, all the stuff that I own right now, if I had to buy it again today, the money would cost much more. If the debt on my properties was it was new debt, it would, all those mortgages, it would be double. Instead of being 4% rates on the ones that I refied, they'd be closer to 8. So let's see, Guyana Spice, New York and Maryland. Well, listen, New York chased people out of their city with stupid rules and the way they handle things. They've kind of destroying their own selves. So that's a little bit different. Any place that's anti-police and they're suffering. They're suffering because they're suffering the mess that they created. Oh, Guyana Spice. Okay. Yeah, I don't have any problems at all, Guyana Spice. It just depends on where you're at. But, all right, adios, buddy. Hey, Russ, how you doing? Actually, Russ just got a beautiful, is it 12,000 feet or 6,000 square feet, Russ? He just got a beautiful commercial space that he's working on filling up right now. MF Doomer TV wrote, I just passed by real estate. Oh, you passed your real estate exam. Congratulations. Just need to do a few more things, and I will have my license. Love your channel. Thanks, buddy. Hey, listen, MF Doomer, let me just tell you something. One of the things you should do is, if you're not already doing it, is look at being a leasing agent on commercial. Guyana doesn't seem to know much about commercial, or he's having a miserable time with it wherever he's at. But that is like the easiest money you can make is with commercial real estate as a leasing agent. You'll get 4% on the lease, and there's almost no emotion. It's very simple, and it's not something that's really dependent on the real estate, right? It's not really dependent on the interest rate. In other words, you're getting a piece of the action on the rents, and a lot of people overlook that. And if you get into commercial leasing, industrial leasing, right, anything, office, basically non-residential leasing, what you'll do is you'll run into more guys like me that are actually actively investors, and you'll learn a lot from those types of people. And you might even find some opportunities. If you study, if you're a good student, you may obviously see an opportunity that you can take advantage of, because you'll be closer to the source of people that have the kind of properties that ultimately you're going to want at some point. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So Russ, 12,000 square feet. Very excited for Russ. Russ is actually a student in the class too, a successful broker in Portland, and he got into my class primarily to learn more about commercial retail. And since he's gotten in there, he's just added, 26,000 square feet to his commercial retail portfolio, and he's learning what I learned a long time ago, that there ain't nothing like commercial property and industrial as well. So always a pleasure. So look, let's watch the rest of this clip here, and this is this is Paxton talking about the arguments over the enforcing the border here in Texas, and I happen to be happy that the folks in Texas are doing what they're doing. Like I say, we had 0 crossings in that park today, and we've had 10,000 a day prior to this.
More on this with Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, but first let's go to Matt Finn. He's in Eagle Pass with the latest. Hi, Matt.
Good morning, Dana. Yesterday was the deadline the federal government gave to Texas to reopen this park back to Border Patrol agents. As it stands this morning, we have not seen Texas allow the federal government back into this park. And Texas DPS tells me that's because Texas feels it is just better at deterring migrants from crossing the river here into this park, because Texas feels the Biden administration wants an open border.
We're trying to prevent illegal border crossing so that we don't see this loss of life. It's not normal. It's not humane for anyone to cross a river, including children. but it kind of contradicts what we're trying to do. And it really shows how the federal government is attacking Texas for trying to prevent that, because what they want to do, they want to keep the border open.
As part of Governor Abbott's emergency declaration, the state of Texas is also now arresting migrants who illegally cross into this park and this state. And we just want to tell you from our observation on the ground, that is a massive change in procedure in this park, because for nearly 3 years, leading all the way up to this past December, migrants have not only been able to freely cross the river into this park, sometimes they were ushered across the river by the United States and then processed by Border Patrol, which is part of the reason Texas says it kicked out Biden's border agents. Texas says Border Patrol was a magnet for illegal immigration because migrants were able to stand in Mexico and actually see other migrants who crossed and were being processed here in the park. However, Border Patrol argues being kicked out of the park reduces the ability for Texas and the federal government to respond to emergencies to save lives. And we want to briefly remind you why this particular park is such a battleground. Just last month, there was a historic surge of migrants that illegally crossed into this very property, overwhelming Border Patrol.
Look at that. That is absolutely pathetic. The people, it's like having no borders is just the worst thing that can happen to our country. Look at that. We got people in here. You know, people can even fly now. Think about the mess we had with 9/11, and now that we've got people that can get on the airplane with no ID. You and I can't get on the plane with no ID, but these folks can.
Actually forcing the closure of legal ports of entry. Now, this morning, a much different scene as we're standing here. Texas has heavily fortified this park, put up razor wire all along the river, and we are seeing Texas National Guard actually push back migrants, saying, do not enter here into the United States. Dana.
What a situation, Matt. Finn.
About time.
I'm Steve Deuce.
So, anyways, yeah, it's listen, we got to take care of the country. So what else? Any thoughts out there on this? MF Doomer, leasing commercial. Yeah. So you're a new agent. I'm glad for you, buddy. Yeah, leasing commercial is a great thing to do. You said, I will take it to heart. Thank you. My father is a broker in a small town. So he's taken me under his wing, but I will write that down. Yeah. Yeah, he may not even realize it. I'm just telling you, if he's been a residential guy or something, he may not even really, never considered those opportunities. But I would urge you to do so. The beauty, I'd say the downside of being like a residential agent is that it's a very emotionally charged thing. You know, people buy their home. Most people buy and live and die in the first home they ever bought, right? That's kind of how it is for many people, most people. And so, it's a big decision. When they do it, they're excited. A lot of times it's a tough reach to make that first one for most couples that buy property. Listen, I've been buying so many properties. When I met my wife, I was 27 I was 27 when I met her. And, she was with me in a very short time. After we did get married, I'd pull up to a property and she'd say, well, why are we stopping here? And I go, oh, we own this. In other words, there was no emotional, we didn't have any of that baggage because, I just bought properties left and right. I bought, I went through probably 20, 30 properties, 40 properties before I ever met her. And so when I started buying them, it was just regular business for me. That was just my job. And yeah. So also Monica wrote, lowball buyers are making deals here in Michigan. Yeah. Well, you begin by beating people up, right? Hitting them hard with the price. I call it taking the wind out of their sails, right? And what it does is you're softening them up, and if we all do this at the same time, then one of us will get in there and get the spoils. And so that's the thing is. Go in and knock them up, beat them up a little bit, give them a dose of reality, especially in the retail, industrial properties. I've already, I've had a few things that, I basically had to beat them up, take them down, and I haven't got anything signed yet, the ones that I want. But this is how you do it. You have to wake them up. and let them know, look, it's just math. It's just math. I'm dealing with borrowed money. If I'm dealing with borrowed money, I got to make it count. In other words, I got to have a delta, over and above that what the cost of money, and then I got to get something for my trouble. And if everybody takes that approach, you need to make money on the borrowed money. And even if you are somebody that has cash, listen, you're squandering your cash if you don't demand. You got power like nobody else. The more cash you got, the more power you got. And, so it's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing. Yeah, and like Russ has got kind of a creative financing deal, but he's got 12,000 square feet, and he's got that really with about $80,000 out of pocket. There's some other details with that, but I won't go into too much of it. But he has a great deal going there. And the one before that, he's got another one he got for about $1 million under market. I got Jerry in the class. He got one about $2 million under market. We're talking about 29,000 square feet of prime commercial property for $975,000. Comes out about $42 a foot. It's an amazing situation. And you can make those amazing things. Hey, if you just got here, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And anybody wants to call in, there's the number. I'll probably cut it here short pretty soon. Otherwise, those in the class, I'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. And, we'll talk about whatever we want to talk about. They've had some different students that have some things they're working on, and looking forward to hopefully one of them, snagging a deal this week. It'd be nice to share with the class. But anyways, let's, what else? What else you guys want to look at? We can do a quick thing. Let's look at Ninja. Ninja wrote here, fire your real estate agent if they do this. Let's just take a look.
I'm going through a neighborhood. I'm looking at real estate. And there's something that I noticed on a property that I wanted to view today. And I'm going to walk by it. And the reason why it's so important, I just filmed a segment for one of my old courses, Home Seller Pro, and what not to do, how to keep track of what your real estate agent's doing, if you want to sell it, your home by owner, how to make more money, all that kind of stuff. And this blows me away. So I'm out of state. I'm looking for rentals. I'm looking for deals. It's a property that we're about to walk by. It's been on the market for 75 days. I'm in town for 1 day. What's up, Sea-Dog? And I give my agent that's representing me in this area a list of properties. And this one, she says, it's completely booked up. It's booked all day, so you can't see it. And I'm like, what? So I drive down there myself because I got a weird feeling. And I said, well, can you call the agent? They say, well, we make appointments. We have these automated systems.
Yeah, so I already understand his frustration. So, you need a hungry agent. I can tell you one of the secrets to making money with agents is you need somebody hungry. They don't have to be the smartest agent by any means. They don't have to be the smartest, best, or brightest. But they have to be willing to jump when you say jump. And I mean that in the most respectful way. They got to be hungry. In other words, you want to write an offer, they want to write an offer too. Now, a lot of agents, of course, they'll run into huge time wasters, people that really don't have the cash to buy. And on the other side of that, I would tell, agents, make sure your buyer has money. You'll destroy you'll ruin your reputation as an agent. And this is for you too, MF. If you go writing agents for guys that, don't have money, that can't close, you'll ruin your reputation very quickly as a non-serious. Even myself as an investor, I never go into a deal. I don't usually rarely go into. There's some exception to this, so I want to be honest with you. But I rarely go into a deal that I'm not going to buy. Rarely do I ever go into a deal that I'm not 100%. Now, there's once in a while, because sometimes you need to. You got to jump. You got to move quick. That's how you make the most money, is by being there first and or being there second. I'm really good at being there second and taking it away from the guy that's in front of me. And that's some of the stuff you'll learn, if you get in my mentorship or get my book, which I urge you to get my book, by the way, everybody. Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate, and get it on Amazon, Audible, and Kindle. Anyways, but you got to have a hungry agent. I've got a great chapter in the book on agents. It's the 80-20 rule. 80% of the agents sell 20% of the real estate. 20% of the real estates, 20% of the agents sell 80% of the real estate, right? In other words, 20% are hardworking, they're hustlers, they make it happen. The other 80%, sometimes it's just casual, they're not very hard workers, or maybe they don't have a good role model, or like MF said, he's got dad taking him under the wing, and so, you got to be hungry, you got to have a passion and find somebody that is hungry. And, it's kind of neat when I get a new agent and I'll say, okay, just do this. And I kind of tell them what to do. And a lot of times they're like, are you sure? And I'll say, yeah, just do this. And we're very successful in buying properties. And, and there's many, many deals, I sign up and close up after 9 o'clock at night because I'm fighting for that deal. I don't want I got maybe somebody else is competing with me on this at some level or some way. Or I'm simply just trying to, you got to remember, I'll just say something here. Everybody should be aware of this, and I don't like to give out too much information because the people in the mentorship say, hey, I'm paying for this kind of information. You're giving it away free on YouTube. Well, I don't, listen, the super stuff you get and concentrate in the mentorship. Plus you have me, you have access to me, which is real important, and fantastic students. I got the best students. You'll just be amazed when you get in my group, because you'll be among millionaires, a lot of new millionaires. And, that's who you want to be, around people that are actively doing what it takes to make the big money. Hey, Grant, good to see you in here, buddy. Very important that you can't, like, it's like he's getting pushback from the agent. Well, I'm in the queue. You know what I mean? Look, I go knock on doors. I'll go knock on the door and talk to the owner of the property if my agent isn't performing like I want. I get to the source, and it's served me very well. So let's keep watching.
There's hail everywhere right now. We have these automated systems, and so they go online and they see it's booked all day. There's no special notes, nothing like that. This is what we're looking at. Here, let me flip the camera around here. Here we go. There it is. You can see the for sale sign right down there. For sale by assist to sell. I used to use them all the time. There's no long line of people trying to see this property. There's no real estate agents outside, trying to get people in to see this property. It's been on the market for 75 days. And in this market, that's a long time.
Yeah, so I'll just say this, Ninja. You should be dealing with, I wouldn't be pissing around with the agent you got anyways. You should be talking directly to the agent that has that listing. That's who you should be talking to the selling agent. That'll shortcut you better than anything. You got to remember the agent that are selling the property that has the listing, he stands to make twice as much if you're dealing directly with him. And also Russ is an agent. Russ, you're not doing many. Are you signing many deals for other people? Are you very active right now or not as an agent for others? Or are you pretty much just one-man show? For yourself mostly.
Time, because days on market right now for a pretty good deal, you're looking at about 30 to 45 days. That's double the time. Now, this property is super clean. What's happening today? It's being painted. Now, you have an investor that's in town right now. This kind of stuff ticks me off because agents don't think about this stuff. You should be putting special notes in your automated system that says, hey, it's being painted today. If you have a client that needs to see it, please give me a call and maybe we can make some arrangements. Because right now, I could go to any of these homes. This one's completely vacant right here. And you can see, here, I'll flip it. Completely vacant. You can see they've got some plastic inside. They've got paint, going. And my point.
Those are some ugly homes. These are just, look like little cookie cutter box homes.
Being is that they can have somebody looking at it right now. They're refreshing the paint because it's nice inside, but they have multiple different colors, things like that. So they're just going to paint it all nice and white because that's usually the easiest color to sell a home in, give it that blank canvas look. But here, an investor, the Ninja, is going to leave town now not seeing this because the selling agent has not put any special notes in my agent. Now I'm going to call my agent next and say, hey.
You should be going to the selling agent. In all respect to the Ninja, you shouldn't be dealing with the agent you got. You should be talking to the selling agent and just say, like I say, you'd be inside that house right now otherwise.
it's being painted. Let's go do a walk around right now. But my point being is, and I'm probably not going to buy the place anyway, but this kind of stuff pisses me off. So I filmed, this is a great example of how you need to be on top of your real estate agent, and I guarantee you there's going to be agents down below that understand what I'm talking about, and I put it down below what you think. But when you have case where you're blocking out an entire day or two to the market, you have to understand that you should put special notes. So Home Seller Pro course, I'm gonna entire bundle. Go take a look at that if you want. But this kind of stuff.
All right. Anyways, urge you to get my book. This will give you a perspective that you're not going to get from anybody else. That I promise you. If anybody's got a question, call in. Don't be shy. Listen, some of you guys, I got to tell you something. The way you get wealthy is getting out of your comfort zone a little bit. And now some of you are probably afraid to make a phone call and be alive. I know. But I didn't even feel like doing what I'm doing right now. I've been tired today. I've been working my ass off. But I thought, you know what? I got to touch base. Of course, it's always a pleasure. I love everybody out there. So Russ wrote, I do both. Because I asked him earlier, Russ is an agent in Portland, also an investor that's in my class. He says, but transitioning to work for myself, that's where the big money is. Make a lot more money that way. So this is, listen, I tell you, it's a wonderful thing. I say get a skill. You can be a real estate agent. It's nice a real estate agent gets to make a piece of little money off everybody. If you can get a little piece of everybody's game, that's a great place. But it's still not going to get you rich. You can do pretty well. But at some point, what you really want to do is just do deals for yourself. I've bought properties where I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars, even millions now. And it was all because I bought it right. In the moment that I bought it, that's when I made my money. And then you have, when you have a lot of equity day one, without really money out of your pocket, but, you bought it right, you bought it cheap, you bought it way under market, you have a lot of equity. That's power, because now you can go, you know what? I can sit on this for a while if I want. It's cash flow and it makes a lot of money each month because I bought it right. And I've had properties that I held for 20 years before, and I've had others that I sold inside just a month or two. And and usually in hindsight, I wish I'd have sold things quicker. I sold the property, made about $2.5 million on it, and I should have sold it 20 years earlier and made about $1 million on it, because that $1 million would have taken me a lot further 20 years prior than the $2.5 million did me for 20 years later, or maybe it was 15 years later. So these kind of things I like to share with people and explain. And I can tell you, look, I know of people that I know one guy that made over $5 million because he kept his ears open, saw an opportunity, kept his mouth shut. And that's really important. You keep your eyes open and keep your mouth shut. Loose lips sink ships. And if you'll learn a lot about, I'll explain more of that later if you're ever in my mentorship. The kinds of properties, and I'll just give everybody just a quick look here, just because a lot of people find this interesting. That's me fighting an appraisal district right now, but let me see what else I got. Well, let's go over here. No, can't do that. Well, where are all those? Yeah, I'm in a different file, I guess, here. Well, anyways. Actually, you'll learn a lot. I don't have the right file loaded up here right now, but I have bought a lot of properties, apartment buildings, commercial buildings, industrial buildings, commercial properties, retail centers. I have hundreds of tenants now, and what you learn from, one thing you'll realize very quickly when you have a big portfolio is that there are a lot of ways to make money. I mean, a lot of ways. I've got nuclear physicists that rent from me. I have doctors. I have all kinds of specialists of different types. People of very educated, and some people that are just extremely entrepreneurial. Keith wrote, and people will hate on your deals if you tell them. Yeah. So Keith makes a good point too. If you have a naysayer, or somebody negative around you, and don't get me wrong, I solicit negative feedback, but he's not talking about that. There's some people, especially when you're starting out, it's really terrible. I had a grandfather that was very negative. He was, because he got burned. He made a few deals and he got hurt terribly. And, he had a beautiful home in Covina, California on the corner. I think it's probably worth $2 million, and he sold it. He had a great property and didn't quite realize what he had, and he sold it too cheap, and he bought some piece of shit in Arizona, and he'd been negative, and he made some mistakes before that, and so I never really talked to him about real estate, but little I did, he was like, no, don't do that and don't do that. Everything's about what not to do, and I'll listen to anybody, whether you say what not to do or what to do. But you can kind of, this is one of the reasons I'm really good at observing fake gurus quite quickly, is because you can't fool me. I've been there, done that, and so when I hear people talking, I know they're full of it. But if you don't know what you're doing, you can't identify the fakes, and a lot of people get taken advantage of, and that's unfortunate. But, those of you watching right now, what is your dream deal? What are you hoping to find? What are you hoping to do? What is it that you want to happen? Like a gentleman earlier was talking about, I'd like, and actually it was somebody on my text, Jose in the class, he would like to he'd like to take advantage of his VA loan and get a fourplex. And that's a fine place to start, but you want to keep your mind broad. In other words, if you have cash, if you have money, a lot of people are out there that, you guys have saved $100,000, but you haven't bought anything. You've watched the market. You've watched houses double while you've been saving your money, and that's unfortunate. But you got to get this, you got to get somebody like me that can help you just with a little guidance. You got money, but every year you save and don't invest it, it's going to buy less and less and less. And you know what I'm talking about. If you're one of those people, you had 50,000, say, whatever, 2 years ago, and now you got 80,000 or 100,000 in the bank that you saved, and the houses that you were looking at that were whatever 250, now they're 500. He who hesitates gets left at the starting gate, and people know what I'm talking about that have been in my webinar and in my class. So so look, I think we'll call it quits here, but if you just got here again, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're a first-time viewer, and turn on those notifications. I go live. I'm an active investor, so it's difficult for me to keep specific hours because you're not the money. It's all this real estate behind me. That's the money. And, some really, really, wonderful things. Actually some of these properties I own here that are right here too. And there's one that got away that I wish I'd have got. I'm not going to even bother looking at that one right now. But, like in this little street right here, just this little street right here, I'm going to give you just a snapshot. And I tell people I can pick up a rock and I can throw it and just land on one property after another, keep throwing the rock and hit tens of millions of dollars in real estate that I've purchased. And a lot of people have a hard time believing that's possible. But even right here in this little image, this picture you see right here. So I bought this property, one across the street, the one next door to that, the one next door to that. Go down the street. I bought these 4, actually, is it 5? These, and I bought this restaurant. Back in this neighborhood, I bought this house. I bought this house. I bought these 2 corners. This house. This house. Am I missing one? Yeah. I bought this property. I bought this little property here. All up and down this corridor. I call it a barbell. I'll buy a huge cluster of properties, say over in this area, and then you'll follow the road down, and I will have bought everything along that road, and then another big cluster of properties at the end. It ends up looking like a barbell, right? Cluster of properties here, cluster of properties there, and everything in between. And, you know, it is a very cool thing, you know, to be able to, you know, close your eyes and relax, you know, when you're sick and not be stressed, you know, and know that when you're sick, you're making money. When you don't feel good, you'll put a smile on your face, because as bad as you feel, you know that you're making money. And it's a wonderful thing. And I wish it for everybody watching, because it would be selfish not to. And anyways, so hey, thanks for hanging out, everybody. Keith, really good to see you in here again. And you know, Liam and Russ, we'll see you guys tomorrow, and others that are in the class. See you tomorrow, and we'll get together for a couple hours, and we'll catch up. Thanks a lot. We'll see y'all later.
And listen, time is on a mission to eliminate all of the snake oil and the fake gurus that fake y'all. He'll show you how to build an empire, starting with nothing but a desire. All you really need is a good mentor, not a used car bullshit. With time, you'll learn to crush it. Investing like Warren Buffett. With real estate, you cannot procrastinate. Everyone who hesitates is left at the starting gate. Hey, yo, so don't delay and join today. The mentorship and flip anything USA. Go.